Hello, and welcome to SFI Compliance video tutorial series. In today's topic, we'll be discussing safety summary reports. In order to access summary reports, first you must log in by going to www.sficompliance.com and selecting Client Login. Once you've selected Client Login, you'll be brought to the Login portal, where you simply enter your credentials and select Login. Once you've logged in, you'll be brought to a dashboard homepage that should look something like what you see on the screen ahead of you. Now, in order to access your safety summary reports, you will go to the left-hand navigation bar, which can be hidden and shown by selecting this option here. Then we will scroll down to Reports. And for this example, you see we have two different types of summaries. We have safety summary reports, which is a summarization of your job site safety inspections. And then we also have workplace safety summary reports, which summarizes your workplace safety checklist inspections. So we will start by looking at our job site inspection summary reports. Simply make the selection and you'll be brought to the safety summary reports page. Now, depending on the reports you're looking to generate, we have a number of different filters you can use. You'll obviously have your company selection, which is going to be selected for you. Then we have regions. You can break this down by individual regions, site, the inspector, and then if you are looking for a specific time range, you would put a to and from date here and here. Now, continuing down the page, we have our company summary. This summarizes all the inspections that have taken place for our particular company. So if you look, we see sample company has had a total number of 7 inspections with 4 hazards that have been identified. 4 of those hazards have been abated, therefore we have 0 inspections that are needing, or that we have 0 hazards that are needing abated. We also have 2 safe work practices that have been indicated on those reports. And then our total abatement score has been 100% because we have all of our abatements made. Site grade, on average, has been 97%, and then the composite score generated has been 98.5. Continuing along, we have our region summary. This breaks down the individual regions for your company. For this company, we only have one single region, therefore the information will be the same as our company summary. If you have multiple regions, this will give you the breakdown per individual region. Continuing along, we also have a site summary, and this breaks it down even further into the individual sites. So again, you'll see the number of inspections, the total hazards, how many of those hazards have been abated, how many have not been abated, how many safe work practices, the total abatement score, your site grade, and your composite score for those individual sites. Okay. Continuing along, we can break this down also by the type of hazards that are noticed on your reports. So looking down here, we see these are the types of hazards that have been indicated on our inspections. So for access and egress, we have had 2 hazards. That's 50%. For fall protection, we've had 1 of those hazards, and that accounts for 25% of our hazards. Guardrails, we have had a single guardrail violation as well. That also accounts for 25% of our total hazards. Scrolling down, you'll see a bar chart that gives you the same information. Continuing along, we have the hazards by trade. So if you're wondering which trades are responsible for these hazards, this will help you figure out that information. So here we can see that our framer is also responsible for 50% of those hazards. So they've had the count of 2. Then we also have our abatement crew, who was indicated as responsible for 1 of those hazards, making up 25% of that percentage. And then we have your cleaner, who was also responsible for 1 hazard, therefore responsible for 25% of those hazards as well. Again, scrolling down the page, now we have a pie chart that also shows you which trades are responsible for the hazards on your site. And that concludes your job site inspection summary. Now, continuing on, if we want to look at our workplace safety checklist summary, we go back to reports, we select workplace safety summary reports, and we're going to be brought to a similar page only for workplace safety summary. So again, we have our company, right? So this is broken down by individual company. We've had 2 workplace safety checklists entered. We've had 2 hazards entered during those inspections. We've had 2 hazards abated. So we're at 100% abatement score, therefore there are no hazards that have not been abated. We have a total abatement of 100%. Our average site grade is 90.5. And then our composite score, 95.2%. Continuing along, can be broken down by individual region again. So if you have multiple regions, this will tell you how many inspections were in each of those regions, how many hazards were in each region, and so on and so forth. Continuing along, we also have our site summary. So this breaks it down by the individual job site. So in this example, we can see both of the inspections happened on the same job site, and we had 2 total hazards indicated. We had 2 of those hazards abated, 0 not abated, and the total abatement score is obviously 100% again. Our site grade, on average, 90.5, and composite score would be 95.2. The more sites that you have, the more that you'll see listed, and this will give you the individual numbers for each of those job sites. Again, scrolling down, because we only have one site, you can see this all pertains to only site 3. And as before, we also have the filter, so you can break this down again by region, site, inspector, or from and to date selections. We also break this down in a similar manner to our other inspections. We can tell you how many hazards by trade have been created. This tells you how many, your appliance installer was responsible for one and a cleaner was responsible for one of the hazards. So therefore it's a 50% for each of these, how many hazards they were responsible for. And then we also can give you a breakdown of the subcategories. This is where things are a little different. So what this does, this breaks down the individual hazards that are in your checklist inspections, how many times they've been answered as a yes, how many times they've been answered as a no, how many times those have gotten abated, and the abatement percentage. Also, we tell you how many NAs have been selected for that individual line item and the total yes percentage. As you scroll down, this can help you identify which particular hazards you're having issues with. Anything that's indicated as a no is typically going to be your hazards. Therefore, we see 2. As we scroll up here, we can see one of the hazards that was marked as a no is our workers staying apart at lunch and not congregating during breaks and lunch. We can see that the other hazard there was our project meetings being held either outdoors and so on. And that concludes your workplace safety checklist summary. If you ever have any questions, please feel free to reach out to SFI Compliance and we'll be glad to assist. You can also do so by scrolling to the bottom of your home screen, and we have this little comments box here. If you have a question, feel free to write us and submit that question, and somebody will get to you as soon as possible. Thank you for your time and have a great day.